UNL researchers recently released a study detailing the case between smaller and larger cows. At the Goodmanson Sandhills Lab open house last week, Matt Stockton told us why the results showed it was important for each producer to determine what they wanted out of their animals.
Well, it's been long debated in the popular literature, where you'll see an article come out and it'll say, hey, small cows are more efficient and all this kind of thing. And then you'll see, you go to another meeting and you'll talk to some of the feedlot guys and they'll say, no, we really want the bigger calves and the big calves. Well, you got to have bigger cows to have bigger calves. And so there seems to be this kind of debate, depending on how you use the calf, what you should have.
You say more efficient in terms of what?
Well, the cow guys usually are talking about biological efficiency. They're talking about the fact that you got a smaller cow and therefore you can produce more pounds of beef per acre and this sort of thing.
What are you looking at, though? What is your research showing?
That's what you're really looking at is, okay, if I have whatever, in other words, costs are, kind of equal, what happens with cow size? How does that affect my profitability? And so what we found is that depending on what you do with the calf and your terminal end, it will determine whether you want a large or small cow, which kind of backs up everything everybody's saying. But now we have some empirical numbers, and it also talks about the fact that, there's a reason that you want a small or large cow. For example, you're out here on the pasture, smaller cows eat less over the year and there's some things, but they produce a good sized calf. But then when you get them in the feedlot, the smaller calves from the smaller cows don't perform as well as perhaps the bigger ones. They do a lot more weight gain for the larger cows in the feedlots.
So it's still a producer's choice maybe as to what he's going to do with the cow? Right.
So in other words, if you know what system you're going to do, in other words, you're going to sell at a certain point, then you're going to want to adapt your cow size to maximize your profitability. And this study actually brings that all out and it tells you why and how this works.
What role does age play in this?
Well, that's another question. See, here's a whole nother thing, because it turns out I didn't know age was going to be affected, because you think of optimal age being about 6 to 8 years old. Well, it turns out, depending on what you're doing with your calf, if you're going to get grid price animals, and they're going to go directly, you're going to take them and you're going to retain them and keep them in the feedlot, you want the oldest cow you can get. For some reason, the calves from those older cows, they grade better, or they're bigger, or there's something about them, the older the cow, the better. Whereas if you want to do something else with it, you're going to want it from a younger cow. In fact, if you're going to sell heifers, you want it from a 2 or 3 year old cow. You don't want the older cows. It's kind of interesting. I don't know why that's the case. I'm trying to figure it out. But that seems to be the results of the models that we ran.
So economically, is there a suggestion that you make to producers?
You figure out what it is you're going to use, find the system you're going to use, and then choose your cattle size according to what you're going to have your cattle to, because that's going to maximize your profitability.